Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes on this Sunday, the 18th of February. And the Joe and Joe Weather Show returns on Monday at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time as we'll take a look at the weather for the week ahead and the long range. That's Monday night at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. This late Sunday afternoon shows mostly quiet weather when we look out at the watches and warnings map. We've got a few areas of winter weather advisories and some lake effect snow warnings in upstate New York and north central New York. The action is in California, where we have winter storm warnings up in the Sierra Nevadas, flood watches up and down the west, the up and down the coast from San Diego all the way up north into San Francisco and beyond, and numerous wind advisories that are up there as we continue to see waves of storminess coming in from off the Pacific. This Sunday, the only weather that's nasty in the east is in the state of Florida, where it's been raining pretty much all day long statewide. Low pressure is sitting off the southwest coast of Florida. It's about to cross and emerge to the on the other side. So once it does that and then starts to move away to the northeast, we'll probably start seeing some gradual improvement from west to east. But that may not come until overnight and on Monday. In the meantime, we've got mostly dry conditions up and down the East Coast, a few exceptions in parts of upstate New York where there's some snow showers and some areas of heavier snow going on. We've got a cold front that's moving through the northern Great Lakes that's going to pass through. It's not much of a cold front, really. And then you look out west, and we have a pretty strong storm well off the coast of the California right now, but that will be moving eastward. And with this long occluded front, cold front, and warm front sweeping in from the southwest, we're seeing not only rounds of heavy rain coming in along the coast, but actually even the risk for some severe weather. Here's what it looks like on the satellite loop. The subtropical jet continues to feed moisture into that low that's off the Florida coast. The mid Atlantic is fine. There's some high clouds down in parts of southeast Virginia into North Carolina. A little upper trough and cold front moving eastward, getting some lake effect action up in upstate New York. And then you see just offshore that hook there on the left is the next storm system coming in to California. The radar, again, loaded in Florida with areas of heavy rain pretty much all over the state, except in the western part of the panhandle. But none of that is affecting anybody else as it goes out and slides underneath. We've got some lake effect snows going on east of Lake Ontario and on up into north central New York. Some snow showers up the St. Lawrence River Valley, some snow showers coming in to that area between Lake Huron and Lake Ontario. So might see some snow showers in places like Toronto going into this evening, and also up in northern Michigan, we're seeing the same thing. And here comes some heavy rain and even some thunderstorms ahead of that storm system in the off the coast of California. Next 7 day rainfall amounts are pretty substantial here up and down the coast. We're looking at several to many inches, some areas of 5 to 7 inches of rain. Liquid precip in the mountains there in the Sierra Nevadas of 5 to 7 inches, and a lot of that is going to be in the form of heavy snow. Over the next 7 days, looking at a half to 3/4 of an inch and some areas of up to 1 inch in the central Appalachians and the lower Ohio Valley, a 1/4 of an inch from northeast Virginia on up to coastal Maine, and a large part of the country, the plains, the western lakes, and down across much of the south. Very little precipitation is forecast for the next 7 days. All the snow action is in the west. As you can see here in the Sierra Nevadas, we're talking some big amounts. That's the probability for at least two. In the dark red, it's up to 100%. And for eight, we have a large area here in the Sierra Nevadas of 50% or higher for at least eight, and some elevated risk for up to 8 inches in parts of western Wyoming down into north central Utah. But other than that, when we look into the eastern part of the United States, really, it's very little and mostly on the order of 2 to 4 inches or so of additional snow up in north central New York, and everything else is on the Canada side. So, at least as far as the start of this week is concerned, we really don't see too much happening. That weak cold front to the northwest, as we said, it's not much of a cold front. It'll just probably slow the warm up that we're going to see this week. It'll slow it down somewhat. and keep it from getting too out of hand, if you want to put it that way. Meanwhile, here comes that big storm in the west with that heavy rain and heavy snow, with the low not quite making it to the coast, just staying offshore, but just feeding in that moisture from the southwest. The Florida rains move out to the east. High pressure builds into New England on Tuesday. It'll keep things dry until maybe late Thursday, early Friday, when another front comes through. Could see a little bit of snow up in northern New England out of that. A low will probably reform off the Jersey coast and then intensify as it moves northeast later on Friday. And that should bring a shot of slightly colder air for next weekend. And beyond that, probably going to get a bit of a warm up as we move into the week beginning February 26th and beyond. At least for now, we're not seeing any big storms, but we're going to also have to watch how this all evolves because there is some colder air up in Canada that's going to try to slide down into New England. So that might temper the warm up a little bit. Just way too early to figure out how this is all going to play. But at least we can tell you that, except for what's going on in California, no major storms are on the horizon for this week, and no surprise heavy snow bands either. All right, so don't forget, folks, Joe and Joe Weather Show coming up tomorrow night, Monday, at 7:35 p.m. as we examine the week ahead and the long range. Enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend.